Hey guys, in today's video we're going to get these brakes totally squared up. Stick around. Hey guys, it is, I don't know what day it is, but anyways, it's about to be Halloween, so we got our Halloween decorations up. We got some skeletons, all that fun stuff, but more importantly, we got a Rock Auto box. So hopefully we can get the 59 moving and, I guess more importantly, stopping. Gonna go ahead and get that unboxed after I run some errands. Gonna take the Buick, get some of that stuff done. So I lied. We're gonna go ahead and open this now just to make sure it calls for a certain type of brake fluid or not. We'll grab up a fresh container of brake fluid. We'll get the master cylinder bled the right way, and then maybe just then we'll actually have brakes on this 59. There we go. All right. Oh, of course. First things first. Nice Volvo wagon. Got to go ahead and get this hung up over here. Also, finally put my own sticker on my cabinet. That took longer than I thought. I think we just got one today, so nice. I believe this big box right here is going to be the master cylinder. Yeah. I guess that box doesn't close very well. Oh my god. This is just instructions on how to bench bleed. I don't think it mentions type. No big deal. Maybe we'll get this thing finally moving again. That's the end goal here. All right, it's after work. First thing we're going to do is give this a quick little spray. The one on the Edsel now, I'll show you later. It is like flash rusted. It looks terrible. So we're just going to use some whatever black paint we have and just do a light dusting, and maybe it'll slow down. We are back on the master cylinder for the Edsel. We got our brake fluid here. We got the little plugs here. We even have our master cylinder over here. So nicely, freshly painted. Don't worry about that clear coat flaking off. You know, it's fine. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and throw this brake fluid in here. We will then see how long it takes for brake fluid to drip out these ports down here. Once that happens, then we can start bleeding. So we'll see how long this takes. Got this sitting in there, waiting for it to drip out. What I do know is that when you get these bubbles in there, can you see how it's like shiny compared to the left side? The left side's kind of dull and the right side shines up. Obviously the bubbles are coming out pretty quickly, but later I think it'll be slower than that. And we're just gonna have to see when those kind of finish up and when there's no more left. And when there's no more left, I think that's when we're done. But obviously you need to, you know, actually bleed it. Been at it for a minute now. See those bubbles still coming back up in there? Sometimes they come out, sometimes they go back in. Sometimes you make a mess. But yeah, just gonna keep doing this till it stops. All right, been working on this for a little bit now, and I think I've got it. I'm just trying to make sure this is right. I did not do half this effort the first time when I installed it, so hopefully this is the problem. We can finally have brakes. You can see what I did here is I took this clean piece of metal and I set it over the edge here to try to keep all that brake fluid in the master cylinder, because when you push, you get that little jet of brake fluid coming up and out. But I'll tell you what, this I used to be able to push in. Now I can barely push. See, I can barely push it in, and even when I do, there's like just super tiny little bubbles coming out. So I'm thinking that means that we are done. I can't get any more out. Well, hopefully it works. I guess we'll find out here soon enough. Gotta get the Buick out of the carport up there. Bring the Edsel back with little to no brakes, and then we'll throw this on there, and yeah, we should be good. I even got the battery up there on my charger for the Edsel, and that says it is good to go. We'll see how long it's good to go, but it should be enough to get it started and moved over here. Hey guys, here we are again, working on the Edsel, the 59 Edsel, I should say. And today we're going to install the master cylinder. It is nice and bled, still got the plugs in it on the side, and we're gonna get that installed. They do look like the same master cylinder. So I don't think it was a case of wrong master cylinder. I think it was more of a case of lack of bleeding it the right way. But that's no surprise, honestly. So we're going to go ahead and get this old one off and put this new one on. First thing will be breaking those bolts loose, and hopefully it is the same master cylinder, so those bolts are the same size and thread pitch. That would be super cool. And then we will take it off the car, and we're going to check a couple things when it comes to the rod and the new rod that's here and the one that's on the car. The one that's on the car is the original rod, so we're going to see how it fits inside the master cylinder before we're just going to see. Quick work with the electric wrench. Let's see what we got. Lost both the nuts. I guess I should have grabbed those first before I pulled on it. Maybe I thought they were going to stay in there. They did not. I've got the master cylinder off, and I'll tell you what, if they're not the same, they're the same. I mean, take a look at these. They are identical. Just the way they're cast, all the bumps, everything, the caps are the same. Everything's exactly the same. I took the clamp off, so that's why it's facing the wrong way, but that doesn't really matter. I mean, yeah, the bores are the same on the back end. Everything's the same. So, good news, bad news? Yeah. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. So here's the new shift rod. Nope, that's not what it's called. This is the new brake rod. There's the old one. Let's take a look at the old one. I was told you might have to grind down the very end of this, but if you look, it's about the same. Let me zoom you in. It's longer, like, this way, but it is gotta be super close to the same diameter. So I don't think that's a problem, at least on the 59. I can't speak for a 58. A 58 Edsel might be different. Eventually, we'll find out. However, that's not what we're doing today. So I think we're good just to go ahead and put that boot back on, just reinstall it. This new master cylinder. Hopefully the fittings line up, which now that I see that it's the same master cylinder, that's awesome. And then maybe we'll have brakes. We'll come back tomorrow. It's late. We're getting ready to travel for the weekend, so we won't be here. And there's like 2 different cars in the way, and it's dark outside, and there's neighbors that might not like a car with open headers. So, tomorrow at lunchtime. How's that sound? I guess we'll see you then. We're back at it on the Edsel again tonight. As you saw in the last video, we got the master cylinder bled, and I have it installed. There it is. You can see where I missed the spray paint. Overall, looks pretty decent, but it's here. Now, with that, we're still having a problem with the car stopping, as you would expect. After some research and calling around and watching videos on the internet, all sorts of things, I figured it out. And it's kind of a duh, but hopefully it's an easy fix. Hopefully, I got the supplies here. I can't believe I did this, but also I can. So, after doing some research on the internet, this front reservoir is not for the front brakes. This back reservoir is for the front brakes. This front reservoir is for the back brakes. Don't ask me why. I don't know. What I do know is that I have them backwards. The front reservoir goes to back, back to front. I have front, front, back, back. That's why my pedal feels so weird. It also explains why the car is stopping. Because, there's no brake fluid on the ground. There's no leaks, no nothing like that. But the pedal just feels so weird. Hopefully this solves it. Second thing is on the original master cylinder, there right on the master cylinder is a port for the brake pressure switch for the taillights. This master cylinder does not have that, so we had to T1 in. I remembered / realized that I've never bled that line. So there's probably a good foot and a half of brake line with 100% air in it, which is why the pedal is also spongy. So between those two things, hopefully we will get a better feeling pedal and a better feeling pedal. We'll get a better feeling pedal. Hopefully we'll actually be able to drive this car around. Then we'll get the brake lights fixed. We'll work on the headlights, make sure those are functional. Not too concerned about turn signals, but just, you know, headlights, taillights, brake lights, bolt the seats back into the floor, that sort of thing. And then we could honestly go to a cruise. The car's titled in my name, ready to go. It's insured. I need to swap the insurance to a driver policy rather than a storage policy, but Haggerty makes that so easy. Not sponsored, but would love to be. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this done. Basically just swapping brake lines. I'm adding in a union, which I do not like. Would not even recommend it, but dang it, I want to drive this car so bad I'm not running brand new brake lines. Back at it tonight, working on the Edsel. Before I show you the Edsel, I got a new light over here above the workbench, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. It helps a lot. Harbor Freight, $21, whatever it is. You can't beat it. Anyways, on the Edsel tonight, we are finishing up the brake system for real this time. I started the brakes in this car over a year ago, and we're finally here at the end. The problem is that I hooked up the master cylinder wrong. The front brakes do not go to the front bowl on this 59 Edsel with a 70 whatever Ford master cylinder, or 67 maybe, whatever. But front brakes, it was wired to go to the front bowl. Now it was front brakes right here. It was plumbed to go to the front reservoir in the master cylinder. In fact, it needs to go to the rear. So we had to snip all these lines in here. And what we did is we made new little lines to go from here to here. This involves a lot of bending and flaring. If you guys are from the north, realistically, you've done brake lines before. I've done a lot of brake lines on a couple cars, and you know, it's just part of the deal. Now, usually what I would do if I could is I would buy pre-bent, or not pre-bent, pre-flared brake lines. It's way easier. You just snip out what's there, put in new, your car's back on the road after you bleed the brakes. But on a system like this, you need to make your own. I'm here to tell you that it's not that hard. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Basically, you got a couple tools. I'm going to show you them right now. First thing, you have a pipe cutter. This is probably the cheapest one that was for sale on Amazon. And you're going to use it to cut pipe. It's that easy. You know, just twist it down as you run it around the pipe. It cuts off. You've seen it before. You know what's going on. The next and most important thing is on these older cars, and be sure to check, but they are probably standard flare, double flare, brake line fitting flares. So you can see this is for a 3/16 SAE. Don't know what 475 means. You take your brake line, you put it through the back end here. You make sure it's on that line with one of the dies they give you. You can line it up right here with this die, so you can't mess it up. Put that in there, put the brake line in there. Then you tighten down these two bolts on the side, then you pull this out. Then as your brake line's in there, what you're going to do is take this die that says 1, COP1. That's the side you do first, and you run that down there slow and even. And when it bottoms out, you back it out, flip it around so that the OP1 is facing out, and you do it again. Then you get pretty nice flares. Practice, obviously, before you start working on the car. It's really not that bad. Just cut it or deburr it, I guess, and you're good to go. If you're uncomfortable with it, find a buddy who's done it before and have them help you. If not, just watch a few YouTube videos. It's really not that bad. I'm not going to show you the exact process, but I will show you our last line that we have to do. This line right here was 1/2 of a pre-made line, and I got that line, so I only had to make as few flares as possible. And it came with fittings. So this line is going to go down here. Let it focus, maybe. All right, so you see that down there, right there. That is where this is going to screw into. We can do that just real quick, just for show. So that's in there, and then it's going to come up and bend in here to that one. Don't know exactly how it's going to go yet, but we'll figure it out. Most important thing when doing flares, make sure you put the tube nut on first. You know, you've been there. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen the memes. So I'm going to go ahead and get this last one done, get it buttoned up. Then I will get Jeanette out here, and we're going to bleed the brakes for the, I don't know, it feels like the 100th time, but it's probably been the 5th. We're going to do it one more time. Hopefully it's the last. And then we should be able to cruise this thing around tomorrow, maybe over lunch during the week. Go out, take a little spin around the block. We did it. We're done. Don't know how good the brakes are yet, but tomorrow we will find out. So again, just kind of finished up what we did in here. Nothing too crazy. Just got everything hooked back up. And you can see where I ran in the fittings. And obviously unions are not ideal in a brake system, but you're looking at a whole bunch of them right here. You gotta do what you gotta do to make things work. And if we have problems, then we will upgrade or redo, I should say. So there's like a plane flying over right now. All right, so like I was saying, whatever breaks, we'll upgrade. You know, if we start having problems with leaky brake lines, then we'll redo them. It's not the end of the world. We'll take care of it. You know, we're going to do a lot of little around town shakedowns before we do anything serious with this. It's just kind of part of the deal. And, you know, this isn't how I want this car to be forever. I don't want it to have a 360 and all drum manual brakes and manual steering. You know, maybe we find a 390. Maybe we swap in a hopped up 302. Who knows what is in store? And a lot of it's going to depend on, honestly, you guys. Let's see, can we help this channel fund itself? If that happens, we're going to see a heck of a lot cooler stuff. Again, I'm not trying to live off this YouTube stuff, but maybe we can make some really cool stuff here with these old cars and maybe get ourselves an actual shop. That'd be even cooler. We wouldn't have to worry about all the cicadas and the Nissan 350Zs and the motorcycles and the ambulances and the airplanes. You know, there's a lot of time that I have to stop what I'm doing to let something pass. But rant for another day. I really appreciate you guys. And if you want to see more of this, please subscribe. I don't ask very often, so it means a lot to me. Let's get to 1,000. So tomorrow, over lunch, I will do a little video on getting this thing around the block. We got everything squared up. I tested the brake lights. The brake lights do work, one of them anyways, just a bad bulb in the other. And yeah, cruise around the block, see if we actually have brakes. And if we actually have brakes, we can do things like, do we have second gear? Let's let this thing get really hot. You know, are we gonna blow a radiator hose? Are we gonna, who knows? Let's see what happens. But first, it's way too late to be driving a car with no exhaust. Hey guys, back at it today. It's lunchtime. Sure enough, it's a nice day outside, so people are mowing and playing and all that stuff. So keep videoing short here, try to talk loud. But we're gonna go ahead and get this thing cleaned off and see if it has brakes. We're gonna get this hood closed and just crank her up, back her up, and hopefully it stops. We'll see. All right, it's been a while since we started this. Let's see what happens. Well, looks like we need to let her warm up a little bit, but we'll come back once that's done. Alrighty, she's running. You probably can't even hear me. Let's see if we got brakes. I don't know, I think they're a little bit better. I think they still need bled. So I'm gonna get this thing backed out, we'll get on the road and see what's up. Alright, here we are up on the street. Get her in drive. And I noticed we got a pretty good sized friend back there. So this will be fun. I don't know, I think they're better. I think they still definitely need bled. Alright, I'm gonna put you guys down so I can keep driving this thing. With kind of flat tires and no power steering, it's a beast. Well, it stops better. It definitely stops better. A little bit more confidence inducing, I guess, would be the right word. But it still needs some work. So I have a buddy, actually a guy that I bought the Buick from, way over there somewhere. He was like, hey, if you ever want help wrenching any of these old cars, shoot me a call. Well, I texted him yesterday. He couldn't help me yesterday, but he said that he'd probably be able to help today. So maybe I'll take him up on that. We'll bleed these brakes, and maybe we'll go ahead and get just everything kind of cleaned up a little bit. The car is just filthy. Get that spider out of there. You know, I don't need any spider bites in the back of my head or nothing like that. So pretty excited. I'm gonna keep at it, and so let's just see if we can make this thing better. I mean, that's where we are. So turns out that the brake issue 100% was a couple different things. So first thing was I had the master cylinder plumbed backwards. Believe I already talked about that. Had it plumbed backwards. So front brakes are going to the front bowl, but it should be backwards, whatever. Second thing, I had about a foot of line that had a ton of air in it because there's no bleeder valve on the way that I plumbed the brake pressure switch. Got that bled out. Still air in the lines everywhere else. But the biggest thing was the brake shoes. They were too far in. I had a buddy, the guy that I actually bought the Buick off of. He came over and helped me out. He's done a lot more drum brakes than I have. And we got it squared up to the point where the stuff that's in the trunk was flown against the back seat, which is not even totally in the car. So we have brakes for real, which means that we can go and actually start shaking down this car. It's going to be, I'm so excited. I'm pumped. This has been a long time in the making, and not that I never thought we'd get here, but it felt unrealistic when I started, and now here we are. This will probably just be a short little update video on the car. Nothing too major. Maybe we'll clean it up, do a little bit here after this. We'll see. But yeah, I just want to keep you guys in the loop. Everyone seems to like this car. I mean, I do, so I'm glad that you guys do too. And tell your friends. If they like Edsels, or maybe they like Edsels, maybe they don't know what an Edsel is, show them the videos. So, all right, thanks guys, we'll catch you next time.